What's good, YouTube? Rebel here, and we're gonna go into melodies today. My melody process, with this beat specifically, and maybe some stuff in general I want to talk about. But yeah, let's get into this beat. A lot going on. I'm not gonna touch on arrangement today, but just really want to hone in on talking about this melody. There we go. I tried to include the MIDI with some of this. Um, what I did is I made the sounds, but what I like to do is I like turning the sounds into wave to save CPU, because if you have too many plugins going on at the same time, uh, it fries the computer and can barely play smoothly. So yeah, what I did was I included the wave as you see, and then tried my best to put the MIDI in there. Let's start off with the first sound. It was a piano from SRX Dance Tracks. It's called the Echo EP SRX. See, one thing you really want to pay attention to, what gives this piano that human feel, is the velocity. And then these little flicks as you can see. Here, dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That little step down. Dun, 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 dun. That's some sauce right there. Yeah, that progression is pretty straightforward. Other than flicks, and then yeah, and the bass line right here is simple. Beautiful. The next sound, and really just layered another piano sound. I don't know. It's some shit from JV 1080. It's called Stack Heaven. I don't even know what that short shit is. Staccato. I think that's what the full term is. But it was like I just wanted to layer something over the piano. Nothing too extravagant, nothing too aggressive. Just something to complement the piano. And played together, it sounds like. But yeah, the first two sounds, piano, and then again staccato heaven. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a pass sound. Not really a pass sound. It just complement the piano well. That's what I'm hearing. So next, what I did, I added an electric guitar, and it's called COSM Searing. And that's from XV5080. With this sound, with the guitar, sometimes you hear about, repeating, repeating sounds or like repeating composition. With this, I wanted to tell a story. So what I did, instead of doing the 4 bar repeating such and such, which I'll get into later, I wanted to tell a story. I wanted to use the whole 8 bars to tell a story. You know, people can do 16 bars. Ooh. What we got here is just 8 bars, and let's get into it. Let's see what sound like. I'm gonna do it by itself first. Now, again with those flicks. Now, like what I like to call that is like when it turns, because you can kind of hear it in like the chord progression. I'm kind of following the chord progression a little bit, and let's play it together. See what it sound like. The essential here thing, the essential thing here is finding pockets and finding when and where, because you have your chord progression, and then you have this lead. It's like they're playing against each other, and then I'm playing with it a little bit. It's there, but and then also, yeah, like when I said like when the melody turns, like when you hear it, it's like those little flicks, man. And velocity is so important. Velocity is so important. A good velocity, good composition, and you don't have to play by hand all the time. As long as you got like the understanding of how an instrument sounds, then you good. I got bass, and I got my own electric guitar. I've learned how to play the guitar a little bit. I'm not saying I'm no pro or anything like that, but note recognition, note recognition goes a long way when you're composing. Knowing your what they call knowing your personnel, yeah, goes a very long way. Next, and we're getting back into layering again. I literally layered just another electric guitar. Let's see. Oh, there. It's called COSM loud guitar. Let's see what it sounds like. It's on 4. That one sounds like it sounds more roomier. Got a little reverb on there, some delay. Ultimately, I might mix it differently. Um, but yeah, this again, this isn't a mixing video. This is about this melody. Yeah. Again, self-explanatory. Just another layer to make that guitar melody sound a little bit more richer and fuller. All right, now I'm coming back to a point I specified earlier in the video, talking about like the 4 bar melodies and repeating and stuff like that. Here we are. Here we are. One of my favorite things to do is putting in like a little smooth sign lead in there. Yeah. Let's see what it sounds like. And sign leads from Xenology, by the way. Like I said before, that 4 bar repeating for 8 bars. And again, I'm just playing along with the chord progression, as well as, since this is like the second to last sound I put in, I'm also hearing what the guitar is doing at the same time. I'm gonna play it all together, and I'm gonna take both the guitars out and show you what I'm talking about. as you can hear, that lead is not in the way of the guitar. It's just, I don't know what the sport is called, fencing, when they got them two little sticks and they unguard and they doing them sticks. That's what the melody is doing. That's what that sign lead is doing with the guitar. They're unguarding, unguard. They're just fencing. It's fun. This is fun to me. Making sounds cohesive is very fun to me. Even though I don't really consider myself a prominent loop maker, because I enjoy using loops and putting drums on loops and stuff like that. I'm getting way off tangent. I'm sorry, but anyway, melody. And man, that's when it's gonna sound cold, because when I put do the drums with the piano and that heaven sound with the lead, boy, I finna go crazy. Hold on. Yeah. But yeah, that sign lead again, that repetitive part, keeping things repetitive, and again, velocity. Really, just again, fencing against the chord progression. Like when I'm creating stuff, sometimes I'll like as you can see, my order of operation, and went piano, that heaven sound, and then I did the two guitars. Now, when I was making the sign lead part, I had taken the two guitars out. I even taken the heaven part out. So when I was composing the sign lead part, all I was hearing was the piano playing. So when I did that, I was just playing against the piano. But I also had like mental recognition not to get in the way of the guitar. If I'm making any sense right now. Now to the last sound, which is just some strings. So again, five, six sounds, piano sound, like heavenish sound right behind it, two guitars, and a sign lead. So I'm like, at this point, the guitar and the sign lead are doing enough already. You gotta remember, um, this comes back to being situational. I could have flooded this thing with hella more sounds. I could have put more like texture in there and stuff like that. But I'm like, I really don't gotta do too much, because like again, the guitar and the lead are advancing the beat enough. So I really don't have to put too much in there. So lastly, I just wanted to again cover the frequency spectrum. Is how I want to say it, with some strings. Now here's some sauce with some strings. You If you want some full strings, now don't be afraid to cover ground with your strings. As you can see here, I have three different strings on the higher end of the spectrum, because as you can see, six, seven, and eight, I'm really up there. I was like, I got to cover the higher part of the spectrum, because the piano was in the lows, and then the sound behind the piano was already taking up enough for that area, and then of course the lead and the guitars were doing their thing in their respective frequency areas. So I'm like, I gotta cover the higher end of this thing. So yeah, and again, I put those three different composed strings in different velocities. Again, velocity, man, velocity, velocity, velocity is so important when you want a certain sound. Last thing I want to touch on when I'm creating melodies, or like just when I know I have a good melody, is movement. Now I'm not saying the melody has to be active as hell or like active, active, active. You could have like a very inactive melody and still be cool. It's just again situational. But when I create, I want some type of movement. But when I'm feeling, very lush and patty and long notice, then yeah, I'll make a unbusy beat. But for this, majority of the time, I want some type of movement in what I'm creating. Only cause it's just having drums in a rhythm is one thing, but when you have a melody in rhythm, man, you're really gonna get the head bobs, the head nods. You're really gonna get the creative juices flowing. How I want to say, but yeah, that's all the ground I wanted to cover with melodies today. I didn't want to go, too off tangent because I was about to start talking about drums. I was about to start talking about some this and that. But no, I really wanted to hone in on like what I do when I create and like what my thought process is when I'm putting sounds together and I'm trying to make something sound cohesive. So yeah, there we have it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.